All right, so we are going into the Great Crater of Paldea. This is the area that is unlocked once you complete the main three storylines of the game. And if you haven't gotten this far yet in the game, be warned, there are spoilers obviously for this part, and we are going to see what the rest of the story is actually like for the game. I will say here that this is actually one of the best parts of the game as far as story. In the game, if you haven't heard, it is going to end pretty sad once we get through the story. There's a lot that's going to develop down here in this part. So we may have to break this series up into a few different parts, known as the Way Home quest. And let's get in here and find out what's actually in the center of Paldea. Technically, we're supposed to be going to look for a Pokemon lab. If you remember where the story was going from here, Arvin enlisted in our help. Professor Toro then told Arvin, hey, I need you to get to the lab once we got all the Titans knocked out. Arvin, he did ask us to enlist in help from the strongest trainers that we could find in the region. So, of course, after you beat Nemona from the Pokemon League champion, you do get her to help you out. And then you are going to recruit your other teammate, which happens to be Cassiopeia, also known as Penny, one of the other strongest trainers in the region technically. I wouldn't I wouldn't call Cassiopeia one of the strongest trainers honestly after seeing her team. She just has a team of evolutions. That in itself is not that strong. Yes, her team is leveled up greatly to like level 60s and so, but that doesn't really make her the strongest, one of the strongest trainers. And plus, there are plenty of other trainers out there that are really strong. However, because she's technically like our pal in the game, we're gonna give her a chance to assist us. So Arvin's talking to us, and now we're gonna listen to Professor Turbo speak to us. And it seems you gathered a group of formidable allies as well. Oh, sorry, who are you? That's my dad. Probably. What? Professor Toro? So he's telling us that Professor Toro is his dad, which I thought they did reveal that somewhere other parts of the story when you and Arvin were in the last cave and he says, this is my dad. I can't believe I hadn't seen him in a while. The one thing that's peculiar here is how the dad is speaking. And you notice they're like, what's going on? Are him and the dad not on good terms? The dad is speaking very weird here. It sounds very robotic like. And this was one of the first things I noticed when I first got here. I was like, whoa, what's up with the way Professor Toro is speaking? And we're going to find out what's really going on with Professor Toro as we get down here. Access granted to lower level. So listen to that way the talking is. That's very odd. Access granted to lower level. And then Penny's kind of making jokes about Nimona all of a sudden not seeming smart in the way that she's responding to what's going on. And he plans to ask me if I brought Miraidon with me, which of course, wouldn't I have brought Miraidon with me everywhere since you've met me? Where would I leave Miraidon at? So now we're supposed to venture into the Great Crater. And we're supposed to just jump or fly or whatever. And I'm guessing these these other characters, they have Pokemon that they can fly on also, because it looks like they're about to just jump without me. Or maybe they're just getting a better look. And it's asking me if I'm ready for the worst. So we're gonna get down here and make it to the final area of the best Pokemon story to date in any Pokemon game. Okay, so beautiful waterfall here. Nice sunny area deep into the mountains, so it does look kind of like a crater. This is really good. And that's our platform. Looks like a diving board. All right, so we all got down there somehow. I'm guessing we all rode on Maridon or whatever else we could have done. So now Arvin's been here before. Okay. And our legendary Pokemon, he's feeling some type of way about our landing inside the Great Crater. So he decides to hide inside of the Pokeball. And that was very strange. Now we're all looking for Nimona because, like I said, I think everybody jumped down on their own. And maybe they used their Rotom phones like they were using earlier in the game, where you could just kind of float and stifle your fall. So, very interesting. And now Professor Toro is wondering how we able to make the descent without being harmed. And now he's just speaking, saying that is good. And now he's saying he had concerns that we might fail. And everybody's looking like, whoa, what's up with your dad, bro? And Nimona's all of a sudden, her character seems to change a little bit. She's acting like the dumb comical character all of a sudden, which is weird. And she actually does this near at the end too, when it's like it's not a good time to be comical because, like I said, the ending is going to be very heartfelt. It's going to touch you a little bit, and then Nimona's going to be doing this comedic timing thing that's not good. So, all right, we have to disable 4 locks from 4 specific lab areas inside the Great Crater in order to reach Professor Toro. Somehow he seems to have locked himself or he's trapped in a specific lab that can only be unlocked from the outside. Oh, and we cannot ride Maridon here. I guess they want to make sure. Ooh, a lot of jump lofts. I guess they want to make sure that you just don't speed through the game right here. Because of course you could just ride and jump through a bunch of this terrain without really putting any new work. We're going to put a Corviknight in front because it does seem like the best defensive type for whatever we might run into here. And yeah, I think they just want you to take in all of this area that happens to be the Great Crater. And as you see, they also call this area Area 0. Gives it a really cool name. Makes it feel like a mystical place that has different Pokemon that you could only explore and find here. If you take a notice to the music, that's really good music. The environment and the sounds right now remind me of the old Phantasy Star Online vibes. Has anyone ever played Phantasy Star Online? That's what these vibes remind me of. And that's good vibes. It's good nostalgic vibes. And as you can see, we're not too concerned with catching Pokemon. I will go back and complete Pokedex later. And now I end up talking just like Professor Toro without trying. He's starting to rub off on me. So here, there is actually nothing interesting to catch. Those are Raichus, Giraffarigs, Venomoths. Okay, well that's cool. This is the first time that you're going to see the Garganacls down here. Just the 3rd evolution of the Rock Salt Pokemon, new to this generation. And when we get fully evolved Pokemon there, that's amazing. So if you hadn't caught certain Pokemon down here in the Great Crater of Paldea or Area 0, you could catch some 3rd evolutions. Now, Girafarig even has a 2nd evolution that was added in this game too. And you may have to look up what you need to do to evolve them. I can't remember what you do. I think they have a special evolution that you cannot do by simply leveling the Pokemon. The website that I use for reference for a lot of this stuff is PokemonDB.net. They also have Bulbapedia, which is a good website to use for information like that. So we're going to continue the exploration in our next video.